Normally what happens is people try to use AI for the things that they're really good at. Like they're really good at copy. They try AI for that and they go, oh, AI doesn't really do the copy like the way I do it.
Where everybody's all abuzz about AI, but the thing I love about Ronsley is he actually, kind of makes it real in the sense that he shows people how they can bring it into their day-to-day. And so I love the whole idea of how can we embrace things and bring it practically into our businesses and into our lives.
We think that it's too complex a problem to solve. Usually what happens is with the idea of giving AI some work to do, I find in the last couple of years, the best advice I've given others is use AI for the things that you're not good at first. Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to Amplify AI.
Everybody had a chance to meet you at the beginning, and then you're just bringing in like family here. So thank you for spending the time with us. Where everybody's all abuzz about AI, but the thing I love about Ronsley is he actually, kind of makes it real in the sense that he shows people how they can bring it into their day-to-day. And so I love the whole idea of how can we embrace things and bring it practically into our businesses and into our lives. So thrilled to have you here, Ronsley. Anyway, appreciate you all being here. So hand it over to our brother, Ronsley. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, team. I do feel like friends and family, and I'm really glad to have met you all in person last year. I know everyone's been asked, like, what is the biggest thorn in their business? I feel that AI can easily sort of start to deal with some of the problems that we've been having in our businesses for a while, maybe. And maybe we think that it's too complex a problem to solve. Usually what happens is with the idea of giving AI some work to do, I find in the last couple of years, the best advice I've given others is use AI for the things that you're not good at first. Normally what happens is people try to use AI for the things that they're really good at. Like they're really good at copy. They try AI for that and they go, oh, AI doesn't really do the copy like the way I do it. And the easiest way to get the most leverage out of AI is to use it for the things you're not good at. What is the biggest thorn in your business and that you think AI can help you solve? And we'll get into that in a second. So a couple of things to start off with. The goal is that AI can be used for a whole bunch of different things. Most people think about using AI to outbeat their competitors, and I feel like there's a much better way to use AI. Use AI to amplify the things that are working really well. So, for example, if you're going into implementing AI, integrating AI into your business, if you're doing it by yourself, the first thing to get the most leverage is to use the things that you're not good at and use AI for that. But if you want to get the biggest leverage over time for your business, if you already have processes and frameworks that work and you know how they work, using AI to get it done quicker, and I'll show you some examples, is probably the easiest way to get the most out of the implementation. Because for the last so many years, whether it was with AI or with podcasting, it's basically what I've done is taken someone's genius and amplified it. And with both of those platforms, you're actually using your genius and your greatness and amplifying it, whether it is through AI or podcasting. You will all get a copy of the deck, but what you got to know is for the first part of my career, I was talking to computers. The second part of my career, I was talking to humans. And now those two parts have just come together and become AI. The first book was Amplify. The second book was Amplify AI. And I've spent a lot of time distilling what it takes to put your genius into a podcast and then take your genius amplified using AI. But 13 years ago, maybe a bit longer, this picture was 13 years ago, I was a chef in a restaurant. My first business was a restaurant because I thought everyone's got to eat, right? And everyone told me that I had to monetize my passion. You know this story because I spoke to you guys in New York about it. But this was just before the restaurant shut, and the restaurant shut kind of overnight. We did service on Saturday. On Sunday, the locks were changed. And it was really interesting because that was when I learned to become an entrepreneur, to find out what the market needs and then not necessarily build it, because there's this idea of build them that they will come, which is what I did with the restaurant. Built it 260 grand down before I opened the doors, and someone gave me $10 for the first meal. I was like, oh, this seems hard. And it just seemed like an uphill battle from there. But now with the ability to have, digital media, it's so much easier. So for 2025, at least, open yourself to new ideas and new ways of doing business. I think things are changing quite drastically. I believe artificial intelligence will easily be the biggest conversation of our lifetime. Things have changed already so quickly. We just got announced, like, I think a few hours ago, VLC is like the famous media player. It's free. It has been free forever. VLC, you can download it and it'll play any sort of media file. They have just incorporated live transcription as part of their free media player. So transcription used to be a business where I remember paying $1 a minute to get transcriptions because, we did podcasts for like a lot of people. And there was a time for us to get the show notes. So to create any sort of media, we needed to pay the $1 a minute to get the transcription first. And now that is just not even a thing, So things are changing, and I would assume that it will change in your space as well. And I would ask you to be the leader to change that. I'm going to look at the chat, but what I think is really useful is having this template filled out. All right, I am X who helps Y achieve Z. I'm unique because ABC. What I might do is just put that into the chat, and when you get a chance, if you can fill out this for me for each one of you, that would be amazing. While I look at what's in here, biggest thorn in our business that AI could help with. I'm in accounting. I feel like AI should be able to help me. I don't know enough to, oh my God. Yeah, of course, Diana, it's going to help you. It's this in accounting and numbers. But I think there's a big difference between intelligence and computing. And I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I mean, it's super helpful. Use AI for business intelligence. Jeff, clarification on what you mean by business intelligence. That would be interesting for your business. Program management, detailed plans, that's easy to do. So for the people that I hear, Jeff, Brad, Diana, William, Priya, if you can use that template and fill it out to the best of your abilities. I am X who helps Y achieve Z. I'm unique because ABC. And the reason for that is it gives us context. And with that context, we can do a lot of really cool things using AI. And that will help us use AI to sort of reverse engineer templates. So if you could fill that out and put that in the chat, that would be amazing. Please.
Ronsley, can you give an example if this was you answering this question?
Yeah. I'm an AI consultant who helps business founders who have, help business founders who build something amazing, turn their genius into AI-powered systems that actually works. So I am designation who helps audience, which is Y, achieve Z, which is outcome. So I am an AI consultant who helps audience, which is business founders who have methods and frameworks and a business over $1 million, achieve integration with AI to do things quicker and save 2 hours a day. Does that help?
Yep, that's good. Thanks.
Yeah. And then I can add that I'm unique because, I can program in 21 languages. I have written a book. I've got results. You can just keep adding what those uniquenesses are. My framework works. I have a framework that works. So the uniqueness is up to you. So the goal is that by today's session, that we'll do some work in the sessions. The idea is that I want to not give you to have a bigger to-do list than you already have, but maybe we can start to dig into some of the things that you're trying to deal with right now. Before we start, the 3 main concepts I want to cover. The first is the value alignment problem. This is a problem that exists in computer science and has been forever, in the sense that when a programmer goes to a client and says, the client says, this is what I want, the programmer goes, okay, let me take all your requirements and I'll write them down. Then I will go away, make the thing, test the thing, and I'll come back and I'll show you the thing done. And that used to be called the waterfall method of creation. And what used to happen is there was a value alignment problem from the way the customer described what they wanted to the way the programmer understood what needed to be made. So there's this gap in specifying the objective we have in our head completely and correctly. And to combat that, agile methods were created. Now, luckily, I wrote a thesis in agile methods. And what it does is it sort of breaks down that cycle from a waterfall method to shorter iterations. So you have these cycles where you say, okay, what do you want, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer or Miss Customer? And you go and they say, this is what I want. And you're like, okay, let me make an MVP of that. And in 1 week, I'll show you what that MVP looks like. And then they show them the MVP and then the customer goes, oh, yes, but not really. I kind of wanted it this way and that way. And then they make those changes, and those small iterations help us reduce the value alignment problem. Does that make sense, team? Yeah. So the first concept is that it's hard for us to express entirely what's in our brain to the computer. So normally, if you're not getting what you want out of AI, it's because there's a value alignment problem. Okay, that's the first concept. The second concept I want to introduce you to is the one of reducing human cognitive load. Now, in general, we can see how there's this rise of depression, anxiety, too much workload, overwhelm. That is common. And instead of using AI to replace people, use AI to reduce their cognitive load. We're all leaders here and we all lead a bunch of people. And if you could give them a superpower that would negate their biggest weakness, you would be the best thing since sliced bread. I think that's the goal. The goal for us is how can we reduce our human cognitive load as well as that of our team in terms of reduction of cognitive load. You consider yourself to have human intelligence, you can augment that with artificial intelligence and then align that with divine intelligence for the greater good. And then you can use intelligence to really make a difference in your business, in your industry. We know for a fact that human intelligence lacks in a lot of ways. We're very bad at memory, extremely bad at memory, while artificial intelligence is really good at memory. So augment the intelligence and use artificial intelligence for what it's good at and use human intelligence for what it's good at. All right, the last thing I'm going to say is wearing socks. I have this friend that asked me, how do I wear my socks? And I'm like, what do you mean? One leg at a time. And that's not what he was asking me. He asked me how I wear my socks in the sense whether I wear my socks inside out or just like the way normal people do. I was like, everyone wears the socks normally. And he goes, why would you want the stitching of the socks to be on the inside for you to deal with the stitching while you're walking through your day? Why don't you just flip the socks around? And I'm like, what? That is so simple. And since then, I've been wearing my socks the other way around. So for 40 years, I've been wearing socks the wrong way. And I would encourage you to think, or what I thought was the right way, but it could be worn better. While you're listening to this and we're doing today's session, I think there are ways that you can wear your socks differently that will actually benefit you. I want you to do a brain dump, like literally all the things you have on your mind that you have to do. Just say, I've got to do this. I've got to go give the dog a bath, whatever it is. I've got to pay the team, whatever is your list. I want you to go. I'm going to put a minute on the clock and I would love you to just dictate to your phone. All right. 1 minute. All right. How'd you go? Everyone got that note?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Now, what I'd like you to do, I'm going to open ChatGPT. You can use Claude. You can use Gemini. You can use Grok. It doesn't matter what AI you use. What I'd like you to do is say, organize this in a logical manner. And I want you to just paste, just don't even correct whatever that is, just paste that in the brackets there in your AI and hit enter, please. So organize this in a logical manner and then copy your dictation and paste it in there. Are you going, team? Can I help? Did anyone execute already? Yeah, Diana, do you want to unmute and tell me?
So I literally brain dumped. This was really cool. And then it made me a to-do list of like my work tasks that I need to get done, my self-care tasks I need to get done, my personal home tasks. I broke it up into household errands and then like weekend activities. It's beautiful.
Amazing. It is. So now what I'd like you to do is say you can say things like, for me to feel really productive, what is the thing that I could do right now to take off the list? Or you can ask it to organize it to home and away, or you can ask it, give me the task that can be done in 1 minute, like, or give me the task that I need to dedicate time to and put in the calendar. So now that you have that brain dump and it's organized for you, there's so many things that you can do. But not only that, it has reduced overwhelm. If you feel it, like it's suddenly gone, oh, I've captured that somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Now it can be like, organize this to tell me what to do on Saturday and what to do on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is something that you can totally use, right? You can totally use that as soon as you feel overwhelmed. The first thing I want you to do is pick up your phone, open the notes, and just brain dump all the things that you have on your mind. Even that act in itself is going to reduce the overwhelm. Then the next thing from there is to take that and then organize that in a logical manner. And then the next thing from there is to take that and then execute on the things. And in that, just in that, you're going to start to reduce a lot of your human cognitive load. You'll feel less tired. Okay. So what I've noticed over the last couple of years implementing AI for different companies and different businesses, that there are these 3 S's that stop us from implementing AI properly. The first is that there's scaling limits. In business, there's scaling limits, like we can't scale without human hours. And that's a problem that we need to fix. The second problem is that there's a system overwhelm. There's lots of AI options and there's lots of complexity, and everyone seems to know what they're talking about and everyone's an expert. So we just kind of go and we see these tools and we start getting tools, and there's new things coming out every day and every week. And we're like, I don't even know what to do next. That's the second problem to solve. And the third is that there's a strategy gap because there's no clear AI implementation strategy. So for us to overcome that, the first thing to do is to overcome scaling limits is to create connection. Now, connection is the ability to amplify human connection while scaling. And not that every company knows how difficult that is. But with AI, it can be made easier. The second thing is with system overwhelm is to have clarity and a clear AI implementation roadmap. And with the strategy, you increase capability and deploy proven systems that already exist and not you're trying to create new ones for yourself. For each of these, now there's like these 3 P's for each of them. So for connection, you first want to extract personality, and then you want to make sure that you have a way to check the style and consistency. And then there is a way to train your AI to do exactly what you want it to do. That's how you create connection. To create clarity, you first map all the processes that work. Then you insert AI into those processes and create architecture, and then use the pyramid. And I've written about that in detail in the book. So I don't really want to go into the pyramid part, but I'm just giving you an overview of what happens when you're trying to implement AI into your business. And finally, once you have connection and clarity to implement capability, you start implementing the AI tools and then start to determine performance and increase productivity. So that is the way to actually implement in the right steps. But what happens right now is people go straight to tools and they start buying the tool, and then the tool doesn't do what it's supposed to do. and then you go back and forth, and in the meantime you've lost connection with your team, you've lost connection with your audience, and you've lost connection with yourself because you're trying to fit this tool into the system as opposed to getting the right tool for your system. So flip that around.
Hey, AI Geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI Geeks by going to amplifyais.com. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI geek. Until then, much love.